Okay. We're good. We're good. What up, Suns fans? Suns end the night with a disappointing loss and downgrade their record to 46 and 32 on the season. And I'm here to talk about it all and more in just a second.
Gorgeous move from Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about here, but let's get some house chores done here. First off, what is this, you may ask? Well, I usually, if you've been following this channel for a while, I switch jerseys every now and then, but since I only have a book and a KD jersey, I only switch between those two. And it kind of works out in some ways because I I'll wear the jersey of who I think I did who did the best that night. So if you've been watching since like day one, since we started since All Star break, I've been switching between Book and KD. But tonight you could clearly see I don't have a Beal jersey, so we'll just be going with this badge tonight. Second thing, if you also been watching, I don't have a co-host here. Yeah, he's out again. He was supposed to be here. He was listed as game time decision, but is sticking to being out for tonight. Okay, third thing. This is the final thing. Uh, I, if you're new to this channel, I'm so sorry that you may not get some of these references. Oh my god, sorry, that was an advertisement. But if you're new to channel, you may not get most of these references. But I've been updating this board in the back 9 days since last Suns meltdown. Now I know Suns fans are angry tonight, and I'm there with you. I'm disappointed, and we'll talk about this game in just one more second. But some fans are more uh how do you say they're more I'm having trouble thinking about this, but they're more reactionary, right? They overreact to losses. Yes, tonight was a loss and it was really bad, but from what I've collected from this game, I do not think this night was a meltdown. Okay, the Suns have been doing really good the last 3 games. It hurts me to say that, but the Suns have been really good the last 3 games, and that was able to buy us some breathing room. We'll talk about the standings and more, but we have a bit of breathing room. So tonight's not a total meltdown. I don't think it's like panic button. We should all panic. What I'm telling you here today, Suns fans, is that you have no need to panic. Okay? Quick shout out to Baxter. Sup, man? Okay. I've been around the bush this whole the whole starting here. And here's the thing. Tonight was such a disappointment. But you could also see it happen throughout the game. Right? I think Suns fans have to be disappointed in tonight because our standards have been raised so high over the last 3 games. Finally we're starting to see some collecting, some chemistry, some consistency, which is what we've been begging for all season. The boys in purple have been playing hard, they've been playing good, and over the last 3 games they proved that to us. They proved to us that very fact. And for the first quarter here, in this game, it looks like we're going to continue. We're going to get that fourth dub, playing hard, playing fast, playing the right way. But there's a few interesting notes to take from that first half. While we did have some great defense and it was overall really good, we outscored them 26-19. Right? We put the clamps on them. We got 3 blocks, 3 steals, and we forced them to turn over the ball 6 times. It was great. We're finally seeing the defensive mastermind that Vogel has acclaimed to be, right? Exciting stuff. But also that quarter, you had a few cracks in the wall. And those cracks over time were left unchecked. And it led to the dam being opened. The floodgates fell apart and it all collapsed, especially in the third quarter. Or I think it was the second quarter. Quick check. Yep, second quarter. Okay. What am I talking about? These cracks in the wall. Okay, so first of all, I keep calling him TJ. CJ McConnell was he wasn't great during the first half, especially when you compare him to like the Suns. But he was good enough to where it kept them in the game. I think he was perfect from the three. I don't have the specific stats of the first quarter, but CJ he kept the Pelicans in the game with a bunch of threes. Okay, a little concerning. Still, overall great quarter from the Suns, but CJ. Even the announcers, if you're watching local broadcasts, said that CJ could become hot. And having a hot CJ is probably the last thing you want. We already know how big of a deal Zion, however the frick you say his name. And I'm not going to call him by his nickname Z because that's stupid. Okay, we've had trouble with Zion before. Yeah, even though the past couple of games, the two other games we had against the Pelicans, we handled them with ease, Zion still posed a somewhat threat because always in the fourth quarter, he would, just start going down into the paint, drawing fouls, and like finishing around the rim, right? That fact was always there. Now, thankfully, in those previous other matches, CJ or freaking other guy who shall go unnamed, mostly because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Um, they didn't become as hot as tonight. So CJ, I feel like after that first quarter, Vogel should have had red flags blaring in his head, saying that okay, we need to cover CJ a little more. He needs a little more attention than usual because he's the only one keeping Pelicans in the game. More on that later, right? Second biggest crack in the wall in the first quarter was as great as the Suns were on defense, and they weren't that great on that much on offense, right? 26 points in the first quarter. Now we did hold them to 19, but 26 that's a little low, right? But I mean, Booker and other guys have stated before that defense is the main concern for Phoenix. Like, sure, KD, Book, Beal, they could all get hot at any time they want. So offense is not that big of a problem as much as defense is. Defense consistency. which is he is true on that. And Suns were playing amazing defense, but offense was still a little slow. Sure, you could write that off. Just keep playing amazing defense into the second quarter, and we'll worry about that later. But then defense got worse. Wait, I get a little ahead of myself. I still haven't. Okay, the second crack I'm talking about in the wall, in the wall that was the Suns in the first quarter, was a lack of killer instinct. Now, what I mean by this is basically like going up to the 3 point line, like heat checking, like clutch, tangibilities, right? Because as hot as the Suns were that first quarter, as great defense as they were, there were moments where we got a steal, right? The arena is blaring, fans are cheering, momentum is fully in the Suns' favor. And Book or KD would do like a pull up three from the perimeter, which normally you would want to knock that down so you could keep momentum going, force a timeout, whatever. But I mean, pretty importantly, those shots never went in. And it kind of staggered the momentum. Right? Now, we still won that quarter. So again, these things weren't much of an issue. CJ needed a little more attention on defense. Killer instinct wasn't there. Okay, yeah, just keep playing defense and we'll be good. And then it started. Those cracks became. They started to become holes in the second quarter as Pelicans got amazingly hot. Right. That's I was talking about, and everyone on the Suns has been talking about defense, right? Defensive consistency, offense will follow. We're fine on that. But what happens when Booker goes out, notorious Pelican killer, when he goes out, sits on the bench for the second quarter, and then our guys stop hustling. They stopped showing effort. That first quarter was amazing because you had Grayson like stealing balls, you had Nurkic getting blocks, you had guys hustling to get points and to stop their offense. But the second, there was no motion. Like there was no energy, there's no effort to go and get the basket or to get the bucket. And CJ over the course of the game started to become more of a problem because he didn't receive that extra level of attention to, and he went 7 of 12 on us. Christ, Jesus. Okay. He never got that extra attention, even though he desperately needed to. And then also, you have Alvarado, who went off this quarter. He had 4, right? What happened to the defense? Defense just fell completely off. Alvarado mostly was getting like a majority of like open shots. It was madness. Okay, well, fine. Defense falling off. You could always overwrite defense with offense, right? Oh, wait. Our team is not showing any effort, and they keep feeding Nurkic in the paint. Nurkic, during that second quarter, before he got like subbed out halfway through, he was 1 of 6 from the field. And most of those 6 shots were like at the rim. He was terrible during that second quarter. And Pelicans, CJ, Alvarado, they kept doing their thing, and it was eventually tied in second. And eventually the half ended with a Pelicans 5-point lead. So now we have holes in our boat, and we just need to plug them up, right? All the Suns needed to do coming out of halftime was just to bring the effort back, bring the energy back, hustle for plays, hustle on defense, just show energy. And by God, stick onto CJ. Don't let him get an open shot. Okay? There was a specific shot where Suns had played some good defense and shot clock was running down, and CJ was like way far out on the perimeter, like way past the 3-point line. And Pelicans were out of options, so they just tossed it to him. They tossed it to him, and then I forget who's guarding him, but they didn't. They kind of left him because it's a wide out shot. He won't make it. Except he was 7 of 12. He ended up making the shot. You can't allow a guy to keep getting that much confidence in this game. It ended up with the Suns timeout. And CJ, I think after the third, just kind of fell off. He stopped becoming the primary scorer. But he definitely hurt the Suns here. What he was doing during the first 3 quarters was really, really bad and should have never happened. Alvarado getting hot in the second also should have never happened. But yeah, complete collapse on defense in the second. And the third, Suns were now playing catch up. And as much as we wanted for them to throw, just to give energy, just to show any defense, Pelicans were becoming more unstoppable by the second. They just had confidence, and for Christ's sake, all Zion had to do was rush down the paint and then either make a really tough layup or just get a foul, because Suns just couldn't stop him. And this is why I bring up the other games, because Zion, we've never had an answer for him. Right? We saw it last game. We faced the Pelicans. Zion was just running down the paint, collecting fouls basically every freaking possession. It was annoying. And it was annoying today. Ugh. I don't even want to look at his stats. I don't want to look at it. Oh, God, 29 points, 5 blocks, 7 assists, and 10 rebounds. God, frick! Why do I do this? Why do I do this? Why are we Suns fans? I guess I should also mention the altercation, right? Because Dyson Daniels and Book, they we all know Book, classic trash talker. And honestly, this game was pretty packed. I didn't even realize it until it was already happening. But like this game, Pelicans had a chip on their shoulder. Okay? Imagine you're a Pelicans fan for a second, right? Now, to most Suns fans, that would be a fate worse than death. But just entertain me for a second, right? You're a Pelicans fan, and this Booker fella has 3 straight games against the Pelicans where he's dropped 50 points. Okay, that should never happen again, and we should avoid him at all costs. Now your team is on a skid, a 4-game loss. They lost to the Spurs. Who loses to the Spurs? Am I right? We suck. Pelican fans. I'm still talking as a Pelican fan. Frick. So when you then they finally come into this game expecting to get mollywomped, and Pelicans played with the chip on their shoulder. They were angry, especially in the first half when we were basically dunking on them left and right. So if there was any credit to give to the Pelicans, is that they really put us through the ringer. It hurts me to say this. This sucks. I hate this. I hate that I have to be cordial here on camera. This sucks. Who gives praise to the Pelicans? Okay, but fine. I'll do it just for the camera. Okay? Pelicans had good. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Okay, they had good offense. Okay? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm so off the rails. I'm so off my guard. This sucks. I hate this. Okay. But, to their credit, they really gave us one. Okay? Because they sat through all of Booker's 50-point efforts and then being embarrassed in the first quarter and said, no, we're going to storm back. And they showed effort. And honestly, on paper, Pelicans should have been a mismatch for the Suns in every way. We know, us Suns fans, that the secret formula to be in the Suns is always to show effort and just be strong, physical, and you got pretty much the game in your hands, right? We saw it with OKC, but Pelicans, they're strong, right? Zion. Do I really want to compliment Zion? Sure. Zion's Zion. We know Zion. You looked at Zion. I've seen Zion. I've looked at Zion. Um, we all know Zion. Okay, he basically fits the build of someone that would really beat the Suns. But we've seen that has not been the case. Even though we lost this game today, we did win the series against them. Unfortunate we couldn't get the sweep. Let's just leave it at that. I've talked about the Pelicans enough. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay. I've talked about the Pelicans enough. This sucks. Oh yeah. So we got a comment from Dr. Slime here. Gotta say right now, I was young the game, and there were some terrible foul calls on the Suns against the Pelicans today. Should have won. We definitely should have won. I agree with you 100% there, but Suns weren't just with it. I mean the fouls, I didn't. I mean, obviously there were some really terrible ones. Eubanks, freaking, what is Eubanks doing? What was Eubanks doing this game? That fourth quarter, I could go on a whole nother ramble of our centers tonight. All right, Nurkic and Eubanks were just awful. Nurkic in the second quarter, terrible. Eubanks in any quarter is just terrible. Oh my god. Yeah, but the moment that's still fresh in my mind is the fourth quarter when Eubanks he gets tangled up with like Nance Jr. and now Suns are in the penalty and they get a free throw. And then Nurkic, listen, Nurkic won a six at the at the rim. We get it. We know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get that foul call. But stop, man. I at this point I don't know if it's better if Nurkic should actually try getting the layup or get the foul. Because I mean we've gotten this far from Nurkic trying to draw fouls every time at the rim. So I don't know. And then there's the question if he does try, is that actually going to make a difference? Because we all know Nurkic is a terrible finisher, the complete opposite of Aiden. Wow, what the frick has this episode come down to? Now I mentioned Aiden, I compliment Zion. This got way too far. This got out of my hands. Okay, Nurkic and Eubanks terrible. Off with it. I'm ready to talk about something else. And I'm ready to talk about my favorite boy, a big game from him, Bradley Beal. He was so good. Can we gush about Beal for a second? He was so good today. Freaking putting up 33 points, right? He had 3 rebounds, 5 assists. And I mean, a while ago, Frank Vogel said that Beal has now switched on to taking a majority of the point guard roles. And for the last 3 games, we've been seeing him really handle that well. And he's just been really good. And during this game, he was just beautiful. All right. That step back, the Nurk steal in the fourth, I think it was the fourth quarter. The Nurk steal and the Beal freaking three was straight cocaine. That part was beautiful. I'd rewatch that any day. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about the big three here. I mean, they had a what? Quick maths, 80-point effort. Big three combined for 80 points. Pretty good. I mean, they've KD 23 points, Book 25 points. Book was kind of mixed today. I mean, he missed all of his threes. Um, but I still a good 25-point effort. Could have been better. Would have preferred if he hit a three. But this is also what I was talking about. Like, killer instinct was not with the team today. Anytime Booker tried to get a go ahead three or just like a momentum pushing three to go in, he couldn't. Right? Booker was just not a killer today. And same goes for KD. He's a 3 of 8, 3 of 8 from three, 8 of 22 from the field goal. KD was also mixed. He was not. He was basically just. He was invisible on offense. I couldn't even tell if he was doing a good job on defending Zion near the end of the game. But I mean, like KD, you could also clearly tell that he did not have the killer instinct today. I mentioned a lot about the killer instinct. Buck and KD tried to get the go-ahead bucket in the third quarter, never went in. They were just both not killers, especially when we needed them. Sucks to suck, but I mean, I guess it does say something that like Beal's not our main scorer. We all know our main scorer is KD and Book. So I mean, the fact that Beal was today's game high scorer on the Suns, that says something. That shouldn't be the case though. Um, But yeah, KD disappointing. He had that flub dunk. What was that about? And then just basically another top heavy night. And then do I want to talk about Grayson? Oh god, they massacred my boy. They massacred him. Holy crap, he is 3 of 10 from three. That should never happen. How does the league leader in threes miss like three open shots in the clutch? Listen, Grayson has been playing superb defense, especially in the first half, right? He has two steals. He had two blocks. Grayson is hustling on defense, but then it all disappeared. He couldn't shoot in that fourth when we really needed him. So just really a mixed bag from our starters today. And it's not like our bench got even better. Royce O'Neal, uh, he I, he just had two field goals. He attempted two field goals at least. He had a pretty good lockdown play on CJ during the fourth. Just played some great defense. That's about it. No scoring though. Uh, Ball during the time he was out there, he did pretty good. Not much to say. Gordon looked like he was primed for a good game, and then he fell off. He fell off. Yeah, 15. We're back to 15 turnovers. It's really disappointing, and this comes back to my point of why I don't call this the meltdown, because it's such a failure on every level of this. Like each player on the Suns, starter or bench, they all had their kind of disappointment. Right? They all had their failure, no matter how big or small, except Beal. Beal did no wrong during this game. Um, and then Vogel, like I mentioned how CJ got hot during the beginning of this game. Vogel should have saw that and then called extra attention to CJ. Yeah, and I don't know. I That's basically it for the game. So disappointing. I don't call it a meltdown. Obviously, they're gonna have to address some effort concerns in the coming days, especially on our upcoming game. So, this is after this game, there is this is our 78th game, meaning there's only 4 games in the season remaining. And so we have another day break. We've been getting a lot of this day break stuff. Like usually, the Suns take a day off and then back on the field. So we have a day, and until we face the LA Clippers twice on a back-to-back, one here, which is our final home game, and then one in Crypto Center. I'm not feeling too confident about that one. Clippers have been so weird. Uh, when they got really hot in like December or like January, I really feared them then. But they kind of cooled down. But now they're playing again really well. So definitely gonna need to take a game here. I hate to say it, but like now Suns are back on the prowl, right? They're back in the standings a little bit. And while we're talking about standings, let's cut to that. So because of tonight's loss, Suns still hold on to the 6th seed. But the Pelicans are now about half a game behind. So if Suns were to lose another and Pelicans won, Pelicans would take back the sixth. And then the Lakers are right there, and then Kings. Frick. I'm so tired of this. I just the playoffs couldn't come any sooner. But like it's such a precarious situation these final days. It gets you kind of tired. Just worrying about all of this. When's it gonna end, man? The West is just so competitive. That you can't even really take a mini day break off. Because like if even if the Suns tried showing a little bit of effort, because we already know how to beat this team, well, that proves to you today that you can't even show a little bit of weakness, because then you get blasted. And now Zion freaking like freaking punks the Suns. Ay, ay, ay. Just a disaster. And there were some interesting games we had today. We had uh, we had the Rockets and Dallas, who looked like the Rockets could have had a chance at that one, but then sucked. They freaking blew it in overtime. So now the Rockets are okay. Here's a little bit of good, some good news for us Suns fan. Rockets, because they flubbed it in overtime, they're now eliminated from the playoffs. Meaning, worst case scenario, freaking meltdown number 3. Suns are still in the play-in. Would I want to be in a play-in scenario against a potential Lakers, Kings, or Warriors team? Frick no. Especially Pelicans Lakers. Knowing how our games, actually Pelicans I would prefer. I'd prefer the Pelicans. But Lakers, Jesus, they've been on a hot streak late as of lately. Um, kind of annoying. Kings would be interesting. Warriors, no. That's a straight up no for me. But I swear, if the NBA tries to flare up that Nurkic and Draymond beef again, there will be hell to pay from me. But yeah, so at the very least, Suns are making the playoffs this year. Um, we're still in the 6th seed, so we'd still be facing Thunder. Um, although later tonight, the Timberwolves will be facing off against the Lakers. So I think if if the Timberwolves lose that, I think the Timberwolves might fall to the 3rd, which is what we kind of want, but also kind of don't want, because the Lakers would tie the Pelicans in wins, not losses. Um, it sucks to lose this one. It really sucks, because now we have to put a lot of effort and focus on those LA games. And yeah, I don't know if Kawhi's still out, but there's something, man. You just don't want to face a James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard trio. That's just kind of a rule of the road. But then Sacramento, Minnesota. I really don't know about those. Yeah. But now in the last 5, or I guess in the last 10, we are now 4 of 2. which, as the last thing I'll say here, um, me and Kyle have been making predictions. We initially predicted after that terrible Spurs loss that Suns during this toughest part of the schedule would go 5-5, which now it seems kind of realistic as the Suns are now 4-2. Just get one more win. That's it. That's all we really need. Um but yeah, that will do it for this today's episode. Um we'll be back uh what was it? Tuesday. We'll be back Tuesday when Suns face the Clippers. That one will be interesting to say the least. And yeah, don't let the Suns ruin your. Well, I guess it's a Monday, so now Monday extra sucks. So if you haven't, please like, comment, subscribe. We just passed 250 subscribers. That's really cool. Thanks, guys. But yeah, that will do it for me. And see you guys next time. Go Suns!
Kevin Durant.